What is up, guys? Welcome in. Hey, welcome for a Friday. You finally made it to the end of the week, guys. Finally made it. That's what it's all about. Welcome in. We got a lot to get to today. Oh, I should probably hit record on here. Helps if I do that once in a while. Get the live shows up and going on the video feeds. So welcome in. Welcome in. All right. I think we're back up and at it. I actually have 2 ears in my headphones today, so that's good news. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to have some fun, for sure. Cram as much in as we possibly can on the program, like usual. So welcome in to it. Hold on. Yeah, I think we're good. Does anybody know? Here's a question for you. If you do videos,
till broadcast,
how do you change it every day for your Facebook to make the video be public to the world, not just to private to whoever you want it to be, to just friends? Like, how do you make it public and just where you don't have to go in every single day and change that setting? I don't know how you do that. I really don't know. All right, guys, welcome in. So the live feeds are up and going right now, I think, for everybody. We got the Ops Lens rocket on the app and the website. Their social media is kicking up on here as well. We also got it going on our pages, so we are all over the place. Coming up on the program today, Gretchen Waller. She is the author of the book Born to Fight, Lincoln and Trump, as we talk about the similarities between the two of Lincoln and Trump, the history of then and now, not just for those two, but then the differences in time between the two times. We'll talk about that. We have the labor market, the tale of two stories. Oh, yes, we have a fun conversation regarding the job market.
1 minute.
Is the job market actually doing as good as they say? Is it doing as good as what they're telling us, or is it that not the case? Plus, we have Joe Biden in the railroad strike that apparently has been diverted. Joe Biden has saved the day. And we got some fun stuff on a Friday for you as well. We're going to kick it off with a story from Twitter and Elon Musk, and we'll have some fun with that one. So a lot to get to. We'll do the best that we can today on the program to cram as much of that in as we possibly can.
30 seconds till broadcast.
30 seconds. Whatever will we do? All right, if you are on the live stream, first off, welcome aboard. We love you guys. Like it out, share it out, leave a comment. Let me know what state you're listening from as we get more radio affiliates. We'd love to get some affiliates in your area if you enjoy the program in some way, shape, or form. If not, then just lie and tell me other places. Or just lie to me and tell me that you like the show. Whatever you want to do. Program starting here momentarily. Hang tight.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Freeze.
Fighting for freedom every day.
You as the individual, you have the power. You don't have to join a union. You go in as an entry-level position. You get the experience that you need. And then as you work up, you get better at your job, which means they pay you more. If they don't pay you more, then you go to another company to show what you've learned and what your value is to where you can get more. If they really don't like that, then you can go and start your own damn business, because we have a free market, laissez-faire, capitalist society, allegedly, to where you can actually go off and do your own thing.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
You are darn right. This is the Voice of Reason. Hey, welcome into the program. You finally made it to the end of the week. I know it was a hard one. I know it was a difficult one, especially after Thanksgiving last week, trying to get back into the swing of working a full week again this week, and the holidays creeping up on you with just a few weeks left before Christmas and New Year's, or we're going to have a few weeks. After that, I'm telling you, it is like the worst time of the entire year, because then we have a whole dead stretch of nothingness. And it's very difficult. Hey, welcome into the program. It is a Friday. I'm Andy Hooser. This is the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship radio station. We are all over the country, radio, TV, live streaming, and podcasting. However you watch, listen, hang out with us every day. We love you to death. I don't care how you do it, but we thank you so much for doing it. Your Millennial General reporting for duty like we do every single day. Coming up on the program, Gretchen Waller. She's at the bottom of the hour. Author of the book Born to Fight, Lincoln and Trump. We've had her on before. We'll talk about not just the similarities between Trump and Lincoln, according to her and her book, but also just the similarities in time. The division. Are we on the brink of a civil war? And are we already in a civil war to some degree based on just the way we are divisive in the country? Not a physical civil war, but maybe an economic civil war, a social civil war. And how does the division in today's times, the hateful rhetoric that we hear in today's times, how does it compare to what we saw back in the day? So we'll have some fun historical conversations coming up a little bit later on the program with Gretchen at the bottom of the hour. I want to kick off the program today with some, I guess, big news. I mean, we haven't touched a whole lot on it, but the stuff going on with Elon Musk and the Tweety and the Twitter universe, if you are on the Tweety, in our latest and what's trending. Maybe. Oh.
What's trending today?
Oh, it was unplayed. Let's do that again. Let's try. What's trending today? Oh, hey, there we go. Thank you.
What's trending today?
There it is. The latest. We were able, right here exclusively on The Voice of Reason, we were able to get into an internal meeting, Zoom meeting, that Elon Musk had with many of his employees with Twitter. Right here, I'm telling you, nowhere else do they have this audio. We were able to break in and hack into the Zoom conference between Elon Musk and what he calls many of the Gen Zers that he has had conversations with within Twitter. And this is how some of that one went.
Question. Welcome to the meeting. Question. How many Gen Zs do we have here? All right, 274. Can you tell me what VHS means?
Sure. Vaccinate high school students.
No. You are fired.
No.
He won't be missed. Here is the next question. How many hours do you think there should be in the work week? Your answer is? Yeah, 134. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it should just be 30 hours.
Yeah? Why is that?
Because, boss man, sometimes you just need time to chill. Am I right?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, now you have plenty of time to rest because you is fired. 2647, are you happy that we restored the account of Donald Trump? Well, I have prepared for you a special message.
You're fired.
Now, do you all appreciate free speech? Yep. Well, here's my free speech. You're all fired. Get lost.
You're fired.
There it is, the exclusive internal audio from the Zoom conference of Elon Musk and some of the Gen Z workers at the Tweety that's going on at headquarters right now. If you haven't guessed, that was a spoof audio bit, but nonetheless, that was the internal meeting. That was solely right here on The Voice of Reason. Welcome into the show. We got a lot to get to today. Our serious story of the day for reals. I mean, well, maybe for reals.
What's trending today?
And I say that solely because right now we have the tale of two stories. Truly. And as the Biden administration is desperate to try and keep the positive light, now they were able to scrape through and keep and maintain the U.S. Senate after the midterm election of 2022. They are trying to keep that positive light because they know that the economy is going to be one of the most important issues going into the presidential election of 2024, which means they have to find a way to keep the inflated bubble going of how well they think, or at least they're telling people the economy is actually doing. And for them to do that, I don't know how they're going to be able to maintain it for the next 2 years because, as you know, just like Barack Obama, what he did with the economy when they say that we had one of the greatest and one of the quickest economic recoveries after a recession that George W. Bush put in place and Barack Obama was able to do all this stuff, it was a lie. It wasn't true. And what he was able to do is he was able to inject massive amounts of money into the economy, create this bubble, and then we have to see the bubble burst at times, which is when we see recessions. We didn't see the recession under Trump because he cut regulations, he cut taxes, the job growth happened, everybody boomed, everything was doing great, and we were able to undercut it, and then we had COVID. So now we're trying to recover from COVID, but the Biden administration thinks that the economy is doing well. Remember that we created 10 million jobs under him and that we have the greatest and fastest economic recovery under him. It's a lie, but they have to keep it up. Now, here's what I mean by a tale of two stories. There are two headlines that I want to read you here, and then we'll dissect get your thoughts on which one is the most accurate out of the two. Number one, this is from CNBC. Payrolls and wages blow past expectations, flying in the face of federal rate hikes. The federal government is just boggled. They're flabbergasted They are kerfluffled with how great the economy's been doing under the Biden administration, and even with the Federal Reserve raising 3, 4, 5 different times the federal rate hikes to battle inflation. And remember, the raising of interest rates makes it more difficult for the economy to grow. People are not investing. They're not spending as much money. The businesses can't grow as much. So by putting these restrictions on the economy, they're trying to kill off a certain percentage of the consumer market in order for things to slow down, for the supply chain issues to catch back up, for us to have a surplus again, and then they can loosen things up and let the people start spending money again. So they're flabbergasted and kerfluffled with the fact that we still have such great economic growth in this nation while the Federal Reserve continues to raise interest rates. As according to CNBC, non-farm payroll jobs for the month of November increased 263,000 new jobs for the month, with unemployment rates maintaining at 3.7%. So for them, that's great. The payroll numbers is well above the 200,000 estimate for those job growths for the month of November. At the same time, hourly earnings jumped by 0.6% for the month, doubling the estimate that was expected, and roughly 5% higher for the annual year over year that was up. That's compared to the 4.6 that was expected as well. So month to month earnings increased, and year over year increased over what they were anticipating. Good news for the economy, right? Joe Biden did it, baby. We have solved the recession. We're getting things back on track. And even while battling inflation that is now mellowed out, has lowered. It's still sitting at 8.5%, 9% across the nation. It hasn't lowered, but at least it's plateaued to where it hasn't gotten any higher. We've leveled off inflation. We've increased jobs across the nation. People are still expanding their businesses, and people are still spending as much money as what they were before. Not because they're buying as much, but because inflation's so high that they have to spend more money for less goods. We are doing well in the nation, according to Joe Biden, right? Right? There we go. Why not? Positive news of the day on Friday. That's all I got to give you. Goodbye, everybody. See ya. Or we have another story here. And this is not from some right-wing blog site countering what the economy's doing, countering what job growth is doing, not countering the conservative, evil, right-wing, obscure websites. This is from MSN. Here's the headline for you. Now, remember this one. The headline again. Payroll and wages blow past expectations. More jobs than what we anticipated. The economy's doing so well. Here's the headline from MSN that shared a story from Bloomberg. More Americans are leaving the workforce as participation rates drop again. Now, I'm confused. We increased non-farm payroll jobs month over month, but we have more Americans that have left the work site. And this isn't old. This is 6 hours old, according to MSN.com. This was a headline that was on Drudge Report. Or no, I'm sorry, this was not. I don't even know where this one was from. It's from MSN, obviously. I didn't find it there. I don't know where they shared it. This is updated 6 hours ago. Many more Americans leave the workforce as participation rates drop again. I thought we just increased jobs. I thought we had 262,000 new jobs in this nation for the last month. That was more than the expectations of 200,000. So I thought things were doing well. But according to the U.S. labor force participation rate, falling for a third straight month for the month of November, underscoring businesses' ongoing struggles to find enough workers across the nation. Oh. Now let's go back to the first story. According to CNBC, and they show which industries have some of the greatest growth, with 88,000 of these 263,000 jobs for the month going into leisure and hospitality, meaning the jobs that they say that people aren't wanting to get because they're not paying enough. They don't do the $15 an hour. They're not doing the crazy minimum wage and jacking the money up. They're not doing that. So therefore, the people aren't wanting to work those jobs. So they say, according to CNBC, that we have 88,000 people working those now with an increase. But at the same time, to Bloomberg, our American workforce is losing because according to the share of Americans that are either working or actively working, that ratio in the nation has fallen to 62.1%. Let me repeat that number to you. 62.1% of Americans are either working or actively looking for work. So how do they get an unemployment rate of 3.7%? How do they praise the fact that we increased 263,000 new jobs for the month, which was well above, blowing past expectations from the Department of Labor and the Bureau of Labor and Statistics? Blowing past the 200,000 threshold that they estimated for the last month. They went past that one, baby. We're doing great. But yet we still only have an active workforce, either actively working or looking for work, at 62.1% in the nation. Now, that's slightly even lower than what we saw back in August at 62.4%, matching the post-pandemic high from March of this year. I'm trying to figure out, because I'm trying to find where the discrepancy is here. Now, maybe we can say, all right, the total workforce at 62.1%, maybe that's including everybody in the country. So therefore, if we just get rid of the young kids that are below the age of 18 that are not allowed to work, and above 65 years old that are not allowed to work because, well, they can, but they're not considered to be working age, just looking at the 18 years old to 64-year-old work group, the able-bodied people in the country, if we get rid of those, then we'll have a 3.7% unemployment rate. Au contraire. They continue on with the Bloomberg story. The participation rate for the so-called prime-aged workers dropped to 82.4%. That was from the 82.5% just a month ago, and still remains well below the pre-pandemic levels. If I'm reading that right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm reading that right, the prime age of workers, the people that are supposed to be of working age in this country, sitting at 82%. Doesn't that make unemployment at an 18% unemployment rate? If you look at the entire nation as a whole, we're looking at a near 38% unemployment rate, not a 3.7% interest rate. I'm curious on where they're coming up with these numbers. The tale of two stories, both from mainstream media sources. One from CNBC that's supposed to focus on economic issues. The other one from Bloomberg that focuses on financial and investment in economic issues. One saying the economy doing great with jobs growing. The other one saying we still do not have the workforce where it was before the COVID pandemic.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to the Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring the Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently, as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
Bring some reason into your day. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into the program. So we have the tale of two stories right now. The Biden administration and pushing hard with the mainstream media. Oh, look at how great the economy is doing. Remember, this is all they have. And while it's not true, and while it's lies, and while it's fabricated, and while they twist it to try and make themselves look good, they have to try and hold up this pedestal of a good economy until the presidential election 2 years from now, which is going to be very difficult for them to do. Gas prices are still over $1 higher per gallon since when Biden got into office, or even just a year ago, even while he was in office. Oh, it's Russia's fault. Okay. How about we just be more, domestic in our drilling and our energy consumption, our energy production when it comes to oil and natural gas and coal. That way, guess what? When it comes to wintertime, then your energy prices don't go up during the wintertime, like your electricity and your natural gas and whatever else you may use during the wintertime to heat your home, that maybe those prices don't need to go up the near 30% that's expected to be throughout this wintertime. I'm just throwing that out there, throwing it out there. Could have an opportunity for that, but now the tale of two stories. One saying jobs are great, baby. 263,000 jobs for the month of November, higher than what was expected with 200,000. Unemployment only sitting at 3.7%, and even earnings for wages went up by 0.6% month over month and 5% year over year, which that's nice, 5% year over year. How high is inflation again? Now, this is the game that they play with the Democrats. Remember, so we have to play the game as well with them, so we throw it back in their face. Remember, with the federal budget, if we don't increase the automatic 6% rate of increase for all these social programs, and we say let's only grow it by 2%, we can't say that we're growing the social programs by 2%. We have to say that we're cutting them by 4%. That's the game the Democrats play. Either we are increasing it at its same level it's supposed to automatically increase at, or anything less than that, even if it's still year-over-year growth, then it's a difference in cut. So therefore, we're losing 4%, and we want people to die in the streets. So we have to play that game. So we've seen hourly earnings jump by 5.1% year over year by this time, which they say, again, great. It's even higher than what we thought. We thought it was going to be 4.6. It went up 5.1 year over year. Inflation sitting at 8.5%, 8.8%, which means technically, if you got a 5% bump in your salary or in your hourly wages year over year, you're still sitting 3% lower overall in your paycheck. You've honestly still had a 3% drop and 3% cut in your paycheck. We have to use the same terminology, the same understanding, the same formulas with the budget and with our salaries, don't we? I mean, we got to be consistent here. Government's not going to be inconsistent, are they? They're not going to be inconsistent. They want to be straightforward and straight shooters and be consistent with you. But then comes the unemployment, which, again, the unemployment number drives me nuts. I don't understand how they calculate the unemployment number. We need to look at the entire working age individuals between the age of 18 to 65 or 64. 65, you can still be working, but at least you're not calculated within that number because you're supposed to be retired at that time, or they encourage you to be retired, or they give you the option to be retired by 65. So between 18 to 65 years old, we should be having a pretty decent rate. But at the same time, we have the prime aged workers sitting at 82% of that workforce actually either in the workforce or looking for work actively, which means really our unemployment rate's not at 3.7%, it's at 18%. Where's the discrepancy here? And how is the economy doing so well? How are they saying that we're back to where we were pre-pandemic with all these great jobs and this record 10 million jobs created under the Biden administration when we still have a workforce of technically 214.7 million workers projected in the nation, roughly 65% of the U.S. population that's working age. And of that 65%, we have a working class that's 62%, and only 80% of that working age, 214.7 million people that are actually working right now. Unemployment's really at anywhere between 18 to 40%, depending on how you look at it. I don't know where they come up with 3.7%. Again, another reason 2,485 why we don't trust the government.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government censorship and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the Voice of Reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the Voice of Reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own Voice of Reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media. Welcome to the Hooser Media Network. It's been a long time coming, and now it's growing bigger and better than we ever imagined. The Hooser Media Network is so much more than just the Voice of Reason. It's a network for you as a listener and you as a podcaster. It's a network for any kind of talk on any kind of topic, bringing podcasters together to give you a new way to think about the world, and it's any type of show from entertainment to educational. Check out all of our great programs, like Dr. Devin Verana with If They Knew.
Yeah, and it gives you tangible tools. I mean, I'm sure she just mentioned that some people might be mad at the government. I just can't imagine.
No.
I think there's a little bit of anger in the world these days, but I was listening to Wayne Dyer this morning, and he said, if you grab an orange and you squeeze it, what comes out? Juice. What kind of juice? Orange juice every time, right? It's not going to be apple juice. It's never going to be mango juice. It's always going to be orange juice. So whatever is in us is going to come out when we're squeezed. And so I'm sure you're learning that, like, taking yourself through this process continually just adds more and more power, more and more depth of compassion and joy and freedom and all those good feeling things, because you're clearing that space out.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Now take people, so for anybody listening out there that might have an object of anger, whether it's somebody or something or, you know, objects out in the world these days, take us into some tactical, practical things that they can do. Number one, I'm sure, is to come see you, but what are some other things?
So I skipped that one on purpose when I was going through this, but the first book that changed my life, and I listened to it before I signed up for the, I listened to her 1 hour Zoom before I signed up for the class. She was interviewing a man who told us about a book called The Four Agreements. And so then when you get into the class, we study the book called Forgive for Good by Fred Luskin. And we went through a process by Michael Brown called The Presence Process. These are all three books. And I hate to be this honest, but let me be this honest. You can read those 3 books and know everything I'm going to teach you. But like any good class, I mean, just because I signed up for a class in college, I buy the books. You really need someone to guide you through them.
That plus tune into Spiritual Smorgasbord with Desiree and Cheyenne.
It is, and we talked about that because then, of course, other things started to happen after that. Of course, that was not my last doctor's visit by no means. However, you know, we talked about it, and I thought, you know, our ancestors were so smart. They know, like, whatever ails us, there's a cure for on this planet. We're just not smart enough to know how to use it, but our ancestors were. We need to get back to that. Modern medicine, basically what that is it is what you get from the plant, the healing benefit, just on steroids with side effects.
Yes.
And so a lot of people, modern medicine is considered sexy. It's fast resolving. It's instant gratification. But, and so like plant-based formula, the raw, natural plant-based formula is what is going to work. It's going to be great. It just takes a while. And people want that instant gratification.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of people try
It's been marketed
something.
to them that way too.
It
They're like,
has.
oh, that's the old way. It's going to take you forever. But if you just take this, you wake up tomorrow and you can have whatever you want.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you want.
But at what cost?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you know,
My leg is broken, but have some Oxycontin.
Yes.
You know, it's like,
Right.
dude, your leg is still severely broken. You just can't feel anything.
yeah. And it's like, so let's go to nature. Let's see.
Yeah.
You know what? There's pain relievers in nature. Marijuana is a great pain reliever.
Yes.
For one. I mean, you know, just
Mentally and physically.
Yes. Well, I mean, you know, but there's other remedies out there. And everything that ails us, there's a cure for on this planet.
This whole room smells like peppermint.
We're all getting cured.
We're all
now.
getting cured right now. It's a beautiful essential oil I bought from a local, I guess you could say apothecary shelf, but I'm getting healed right now.
Yes, exactly. It is. And it's all around us. We just need to know how to look for it. And I'm sorry, but that's kind of what we were discussing. And that kind of was what started this this whole journey. And what I'm very fortunate that, you know, my spouse and I are together on this. It's not just one of us having a spiritual journey. It's that we're doing this together.
Listen to those shows and so much more on our website, where you can find live streaming, links to the podcast, links to social media, more content, and so much more. It's all online at HooserMedia.com.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
You are darn right you are. Welcome back into the program. Happy Friday to you. Finally made it to the end of the week. Trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag. Trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time, on multiple radio stations all over the place. TV, live streaming, podcasting, however you watch, listen. What up? Great to have you with us today. I'm still so confused. I'm so confused with what the government's doing here. Jobs report doing well, added 263,000. It's doing great. Unemployment at 3.7%. Yet at the same time, according to Bloomberg, only 62% of the country is actually in the workforce right now, either working or actively looking for work, which means that's not even the true amount of people that's in the workforce. Andy, that's only the able-bodied. Look at the only able-bodied. Okay, that's 82%, according to Bloomberg. The prime-aged workers sitting at 82% right now, which means we have an unemployment rate anywhere between 18 to 40% in the nation. Technically 18 to 38%, not 3.7. But by golly, that government's going to tell you everything's all hunky-dory. Don't believe what you see at the gas pumps with the prices for gallons of gas right now. Don't believe what the store says when they say they have to cut back their hours because they don't have enough workers. Don't believe that help wanted sign in front of every restaurant and fast food joint and nightclub and bar and restaurant and everything. Don't believe any of those guys when they say they're desperate for work. We're telling you there's more people working now than ever before. That's yeah. I love the tale of two stories from the federal government and reason number 2,487 on why we do not trust a single word that the government says. With that being said, let's shift gears a little bit and get into our latest and what's trending
what's trending today.
And I'm so glad we were able to get this guest back on the program. It's been a while since we've had her on, and I really enjoyed our chats before, so we had to get her back on. But she is author of the book Born to Fight, Lincoln and Trump. Excited to have back on here Gretchen Wallert with us here. Gretchen, how are you today?
I'm doing great. So glad to be able to visit with you today.
Yeah, it's always good to chat with you, and happy Thanksgiving to you and the family. We were talking off air a little bit before we came on here. You got to give us an update. Being in Wyoming, being a farmer in Wyoming, the big news obviously this year has been the booting out of Liz Cheney, and not just booting out, but booting out with style. I don't think that a congressperson has been booted out that badly, at least in a very long time, and you're the history expert buff here. But talk about what happened in Wyoming and how are you guys doing in the state right now?
Well, it was so much fun to get rid of Liz Cheney. One thing about Wyoming is first of all, to know a little bit about the state, we have more antelope than we do people. I think we have about 500,000 people in the whole state. We have a lot of open spaces. You can't get elected in Wyoming unless you are a Republican right now. We do have couple little liberal pockets, Jackson Hole, and I think it's because of so many entertainment people are out there and come to visit. Liz Cheney actually won that county with 75%, but that was it. She also won, but only by 3 points. She won the University of Wyoming County of Albany County. We thought that actually was a little more liberal than that, but turns out they don't like representatives to do what she did, and that is January 6th and vote to impeach our favorite president, Donald Trump. It was a lot of fun. We enjoyed having a rally here. We've never seen so many people in that arena in Casper as we did when Donald Trump came to help our own Harriet Hageman with that win. And it was just a lot of fun. One thing I mentioned, you can't get elected in Wyoming unless you're a Republican. That's why we have so many rhinos. And it's showing up. It's not that we are the most red state. We do have a lot of firsts. We were the first to give women the vote. That's really great. We also were the first to have electric lights and telephones in a hotel. So just some little history things there. But we have a lot of rhinos, people who say they're Republican, because you're not going to win if you're a Democrat. It's just right now that's the way it is. And so we have a lot of sneaky people in here. We're working our best to try to eliminate them. We eliminated Cheney, and that was the best fun we have had in a long time. Just doing what people do. We're everyday Americans. We love our country. We believe in America first. We saw how Trump did so many important things, and he gets things done despite his flaws. We overlook them because we know what it's like to be ordinary people. And it was good. We're just busy here trying to make a living and trying to get through this stinking administration that has no business being there. So
yeah, no, you guys are rocking it. I love the state of Wyoming. I have been to Wyoming one time in my life. As a kid, we went to Cheyenne Days, and it was like the 100th anniversary of Cheyenne Days or something. I don't remember when it was, but I remember that very vividly, seeing the rodeos and seeing Alan Jackson, which was always my favorite artist at the time. And it was such a spectacular place. I've always wanted to go back to Wyoming, so I'm going to have to make that trip again. But you guys definitely are the fighters. My concern is, like you mentioned, fighting the rhinos in the state, because it is such a red state. Democrats realize the only way they can win is to pretend to be a Republican. Is that going to be changing soon as things evolve? As you mentioned, with the elites trying to come to the state, is Wyoming going to be maybe like the new Montana, like we see with Yellowstone, all the developers coming to the state and trying to bring their elitism to the state? Is Wyoming on that list of something that's a cause for concern that could be changing here over the years?
Well, we have a border south of us, and it's Colorado. And what Colorado is becoming is of course, it's a blue state now. California moved to Colorado. The reason we don't have the huge influx, and we're a great state to do business in. There's no income tax. We have a lot of great workers, a lot of people, good citizens and communities. But, our internet is not the best, and we're very thankful, actually, for that as long as that stays not, really good, people are not going to come flocking to us. And I think that's one of the reasons. But if we were to have that influx of people from Colorado, it would be inevitable. We would fight it.
Sure.
We have a lot of more, I think we're a little more stand up more to what is right and fair and good. But
you guys are holding on to the tradition there. Yeah, you're holding on to the ag and to the rural community, and like you said, I mean, it's living almost. I don't want to say primitive because you're not obviously, but with a little bit laggier internet, a little bit less of those immediacies there. You have that as a benefit to try and detract some of those that want to come in and just overhaul the entire system there.
That is exactly true, but the divide. In Lincoln's day, it was sectional, it was regional. The nation was so divided then, pro-slavery, anti-slavery, and of course North and South, basically. But here, our divide is even more stark than that. But it's urban and rural, so there's not any state that doesn't deal with those blue pockets of globalists and versus the patriots and whatnot. So it's a little more difficult to have areas of the country that are going to stay red if they have an influx of population. And it's almost, I hate to say, it's almost inevitable. It can't keep us from fighting what we know is right, what we want our nation to be, but it is on the horizon. And the nastier the Democrats get and what they get away with is just horrendous. And as I see that, it's up in the air as far as, will we have others who stand up and fight as tough as Donald Trump does? And we see him here and there. Donald Trump showed us how to fight. Yeah. He showed us that, yes, we have as much a stake in the First Amendment as anybody else does. And that's what we have to do is simply stand up and fight. And it's a tough battle, especially when we don't own the narrative. It's owned by the left, and that's one of the ways they deceive so many people. If you believe their lies, and there are a lot of people that believe their lies, but everything they say, you need to remember, whatever they say is exactly the opposite of what is true.
That is very true. Yeah, we're talking with Gretchen Waller, author of the book Born to Fight, Lincoln and Trump. You had mentioned this fighting. Now that Trump's announced for the 2024 presidential race again, do you think he's announced a little too early? And obviously they're going to go on the attack again and just do the vile hate that they've done in the past as well. Will that deter, do you think, anybody from Trump and his support going in 2 years out? Or do you think it is time for a new face with someone like a Ron DeSantis or somebody else?
We're not going to find anybody who fights as tough as Donald Trump, and we're not going to find anyone else right now who has the resilience that he has. They have been trying for how many years to take him down? They have yet to do it. They're getting just nastier and nastier. That they're doing things that we would never have thought would have happened to an ex-president. Getting his tax returns, being able to do this stuff, but as the nation gets more divided and the Democrats are out in the open, it's like when Lincoln said, what a skunk wants to do is stay snug under the barn, and Donald Trump, opened up that deep state, and it's just, they're trying now to just get rid of him because he's the one who is able to do it. And
he's exposed a lot of it. I tell you what, hold that thought, Gretchen. We got to take a hard break here. I want to continue this when we come back right around the corner. But you're right. He exposed it. He overturned the tables. He's exposed what they've been all about. And now they're trying to demonize him and try to do their best to cover it up. Obviously, it's out in the light now. Once it's unsealed, it can't go back in the box. And it's how bad it could get for the Democrats. Lots more coming up. Stay here.
Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to the Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring the Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently, as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. As we continue to grow as a radio and TV program, we're continuously working behind the scenes to try and bring more common sense and reason to more patriotic Americans all over the country. That's why we're super excited to be working with the OpsLens team to bring you the voice of reason every single day. OpsLens is a national online network bringing you incredible content all day from hosts all over the country. And each host brings their own unique experience and expertise to the current events, reaching hundreds of thousands of patriotic Americans daily. Make sure to check out their website at opslens.com. Make sure to download the OpsLens website and follow them on all of these social media sites that you like so you can watch all their live streaming content, including ours right here with the Voice of Reason. Plus, if you want more of the Voice of Reason, check out our website online at HooserReason.com. There you can listen to the live audio feed of the show every single day. You can read our monthly blog. You can check out our satire infomercials. You can see pictures of what we're doing, upcoming schedule of events, and a heck of a lot more. On the website, you can find our list of radio and TV affiliates in your area. Find our social media links, and while you're there, sign up for our free newsletter. Over the last 2 years, your Voice of Reason newsletter has grown exponentially. It's completely free, and in it we give you your monthly motivation, upcoming civic holidays for the month, a recap from the show from last month, upcoming guests on the program, along with the latest news from our Hooser Media Network. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is go to the website at HooserReason.com and become the next Hooserholic. Finally, follow us on all of our social media sites. With the iron grip control on content from the radical left, unless you follow us, you're not going to be able to see us. It's been an ongoing battle with shadow banning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where even our own fans are having a hard time finding our content. But the battle isn't over. We'll continue to bring you the best content we can on as many platforms as possible. You can follow us with the handle at Hooser Reason. No matter what social media site you like to use, you can find us there. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch.tv, Instagram, TikTok, OurFreedomBook.com, Parler, and of course our website at HooserReason.com. Don't miss it while we give you a heads up on some of the events that I may be attending or speaking at, updates of behind-the-scene projects, or just something sarcastic to try and rile up the left. The battle for freedom is real, and we want to be part of that battle, as we want you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Conservative principles happen at the grassroots level, and that's what we're here to help with. And together, you and I can fight back against this virus that's spreading across the nation that is socialist policy, trying to destroy this country. We can bring us back to some constitutional values, some individual sovereignty, and the right for you to be able to make your own choices when you deem necessary for you, your family, and your community. In a world of fake news and information overload, it's time to bring back some reason, common sense, guidance, and a little bit of wisdom. And that's what we're here to do. This is the Voice of Reason.
fighting for freedom every day. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, the show goes by way too fast. Just as we start getting into all these deep conversations, time to wrap things up. We got a few minutes left here of the show. Welcome back into it on a Friday here on The Voice of Reason. We're talking with Gretchen Waller. You can find her online, GretchenWaller.com. You can also find her on her Tweety at Gretchen Waller. Follow her there. See all the great content. And as we went to the break, we were talking about Donald Trump being that fighter, overturning the tables, exposing the other side, exposing the agenda, the progressives, the rats, the corrupt individuals in Washington, D.C. There are a few fighters that I think Donald Trump inspired to run for office that are now in office, and one of those just spoke earlier today, just south of you there, Gretchen, great Congresswoman Lauren Boebert from Colorado, where she went on the floor and said this.
Madam Speaker, the American people have spoken. They have fired you and have chosen to end the Democrats' one-party rule throughout our government. The days of this chamber being treated as Pelosi's house instead of the people's house are over. The American people will once again be allowed into this chamber to see their representatives at work. Republicans made a lot of promises on the campaign trail. It's time we make good on those promises. We must defund the 87,000 IRS agents that the Democrats hired, increase domestic energy production, get to the bottom of Hunter Biden's corruption, and of course the big guy who's at least compromised by 10%, reinstate the servicemen and women who were shamefully discharged because they refused to take the COVID vaccine, reduce government spending and curb inflation, secure the southern border at which there is a complete invasion, and reduce the flow of China's fentanyl into our communities. Republicans across America ran on these policies. God help us if we fail to deliver on them. And with that, I yield.
Zing. I mean, that's the feistiness we need in D.C. right now, isn't it?
Oh, I love Lauren Boebert. She is a fighter. And, you know, she absolutely tells it like it is. I would add, and this is not popular with everybody, of course, because of January 6th, but fix our elections in Arizona, in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in those places that are so egregiously unfair. And, you know, we can win again in those without, as long as it's fair. One thing the Democrats don't like to do is they can't win a fair fight. And they've had the narrative. They've had everything. And as far as, you know, Donald Trump announcing to run, I think he's just fine. You know, he's going to do it. Everybody expected him to do it.
Yeah.
I love Ron DeSantis. You know, what he's done with Florida, I don't know why Florida would want to give him up, but hopefully Ron DeSantis is not going to run. He did great in Florida. One thing, the polling said he was going to win. You know, the polling worked in Florida because he had an election police. He made sure to enforce there were no shenanigans. He put everybody on notice. And Florida is no longer needed to take an election. They have Arizona now for that, and Nevada and other states. So it's no longer a battleground state. I think DeSantis kind of, is it okay to say that he had a walk in the park? Because of what he has done with Florida.
Yeah.
He's turned it around, but I don't think he can do that in Pennsylvania or, you know, Arizona. It's a whole different ballgame in those Democrat-run states. But you know, he's a great candidate. I think for 2028, he'd be super. But you know, one of the, like Lauren Boebert was saying, just all of those, we've got to hold the Republicans accountable. We can I love looking at history, and we can look at history for what Donald Trump is doing right now. You know, the nation is divided, but we can look back and see kind of another president that we had that was an in-your-face. We have a divided Republican Party. Donald Trump revealed how deep the state was. For heaven's sake, we have Mitch McConnell, who was working against candidates that could have won had he supported them. And that's an, I call it Cheney Republicans. You know, they're not out for the same thing, America first. They're just not with it. And we've got to hold them accountable. Teddy Roosevelt, whenever he ran, he won all of the Republican primaries in 1912. And yet the Republican Party did not give him the nomination because he was such a controversial, unpredictable, and he was a man for the people. He absolutely fought for
So the divide really,
worker.
Yeah, the divide in the Republican Party has gone on that long and has been that deep, keeping out the great candidates from him to Reagan all the way back when, and Trump even recently. Gretchen, we're out of time, my friend. I could talk to you forever, and we didn't even get to a whole lot of the historical stuff that I wanted to, so we got to get you back on the show again real soon.
That would be great. So
Hey,
glad to talk to you.
Always
Have
a
great
pleasure.
day.
I love it. You as well. Everybody have a great weekend. We're back at it on Monday. This is the Voice of Reason. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the Voice of Reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the Voice of Reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own Voice of Reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at